goats are outside. I had to run in because I remembered that I had food in the oven. But the girls are outside. Hey.
Hi.
You in the pool?
Yeah, Mommy, look. I grabbed your hair from the deck and I pressed you in the water. I told Jab. I grabbed you. Hey, look.
I see. So the sun just went down, which is nice. I was supposed to be out here putting the string in the hoop house, but no, Bucky, no. 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 So like I was saying, we have our goats outside because the grass on this side is really high, and so we wanted them to eat it, but we have to watch them. That's why my girls are in the pool at the front by the garden, because all of this grass on this side, it's like really high and like really high back there, and they'll munch on it and then they'll start walking. Next thing you know, they're at my garden eating my plants. So my girls are at the front to keep them, right now they're right there, but to keep them from getting into my garden. So my husband was back here yesterday building these are going to be 2 cattle panel hoop houses for all of the new chickens. I think we're gonna build these 2, and I'm thinking they're gonna have automated doors because we still have 2 more what's it called, electric nettings to go around each one of these coops, and those will be individual flocks. And then since we have 50 meat chickens, this was the first meat tractor that we built last year, but right now it's just housing. It has meat chickens in it, but then it also has the chickens that, like the American breast that I first hatched, as well as it has the American breast, the Cornish cross, and it has the chickens that I incubated and hatched as well. So I want to say there's probably 60-ish, 50 to 60 chickens in here. So I want to build another one of these because we do have 50 meat chickens, or Cornish cross, that was going to be processed in like anywhere from 7 to 6 weeks. I said this in another video. If you guys are interested in learning how to process chickens and want to come, shoot me a message, let me know. So I don't know, a lot of people don't watch to the end of the video, so I think I kind of said it towards the end. So if you didn't hear that, I'm saying it again at the beginning of this video. But we have the chickens in here right now since they're still pretty small, so it's enough space for all of them. But that's why my husband's working on building these cattle panel hoop houses within the next few weeks, because once they start getting bigger, they'll need more space. And like I said, we'll need another one of these tractors. It's been really, I come out here every morning and move it. Let me show you. So it started back here right at the back. Right here you can see the grass is already recovering, and then this was the next day, and then this was just yesterday. But the grass over here is really high. I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty much up to my knees. But we're just gonna keep going down to, I guess, that tree, and then we'll come back over and work our way back up and then around through this whole area. This is where the pigs originally were, and so we have a lot of corn growing back here, and the goats have come back here and topped off the corn. Every morning we have strings on it. To pull it, but every morning it is the grass is so high that it's really kind of hard to pull. And just today was the first day that the chickens have gotten like the hang of that. When I come, that I'm going to pull them forward, because the first like day they all wanted to stay at the back, and then I would move it, and then they would get like their foot stuck or something. But now they all run to the front, so it got a little easier to move them today than it did previous days. So the goats keep coming back, working their way back to this side, because there is grass on the outside of my garden, which I don't mind if they eat, but then they stick their heads through my garden, and they ate all my brassicas, which is, oh my goodness, she just ate a nasturtium. I pulled it out of my Greenstalk. Speaking of Greenstalk, Greenstalk is having a Mother's Day sale, early Mother's Day sale, so you can type in code Mother's Day and get the Greenstalks on sale. And then you can also use my coupon code, which is Family 10, I believe. It's in the description box of all my videos if you are interested in a Greenstalk. I'm watching there's one goat still underneath this RV trying to make its way back over. Nope, you're not coming this way. Winter, are they trying to come this way? Winter has gotten so big, but she can still fit through the fencing, so we only let her out. She can still fit through these little 4-inch, especially because they move and bend. And so we only let her out. The goats are coming back. So we only let her out when we're all out because she's still trying to crawl in my garden and scratch up stuff. So it's actually supposed to rain tomorrow, and I bought out my bag of painted, what is it called? Painted pony, and I bought out my 2 package of cow peas, black eyed peas, because these ones, I planted some inside of the hoop house, but these said that they needed trellis, and I wanted those to be in the hoop house was bush beans. So I'm gonna plant these probably. I was just looking around before I started. I was trying to figure out, I think I'm gonna plant them on the perimeter, like in these forever garden beds. I did plant cucumbers in some of them, and then like one of them I planted tomatillos and a tomato, just cherry tomato, just to see. But there are some spots where I don't have anything, and so that's what I'm gonna do with those. But really, I want to plant these painted pony bush beans. I want to plant so many of these. I think I'm going to use those 2 forever garden beds over there against the other side of the fence. If you are not familiar with painted pony bush beans, I planted these. I had 25 seeds from My Gardener last year, and they produced the most bush beans for me out of all of the bush beans that I planted, and pole beans. And so I told myself that I was going to plant so many more, because you can use it as a dried bean or as a fresh green bean. I just loved it as a fresh green bean. That is what we freeze dried, and I want to freeze dry way more. My kids loved it. It tastes like a chip. Once we freeze dried it with some seasonings on it, it was just delicious. So I definitely want to plant like so many rows of painted pony bush beans. I am gonna still plant my other bush beans, that like the dragon tongue bush beans and like colorful ones that don't produce as much and just really look pretty. But really, this is where it's at for me as far as getting the most. Okay, so I have no idea how this grass is even in here. So in this bed, it has the dwarf tomatoes, and then it has nasturtiums between each dwarf tomato. And it's trying to grow baby pine trees. Oh, my husband just pulled up. But I'm gonna plant the painted pony bush beans. This is a 2 by 8 foot bed, and I used the square foot gardening method when planting beans, which is basically you can plant 9 bush beans in a square foot. But I'm just gonna eye it right now and just plant them, because I do want to get as much seeds planted before the rain comes, and I don't have to water it in. It's always much better when you can plant before the rain and let the rain water in seeds. I don't know how much time I have left. I do have to go get, today's the day we go get animal feed to the feed store. So my husband will probably eat first and then we'll probably go. So I still have a little bit of time. I would get my girls to help me, but I want them to keep an eye on the goats. Hi, baby. Nia has a guilty conscience.
Guilty conscience. What kind of delicious vegetables are
It's in the rice is in the front and the salmon is in the stove.
Oh, really?
Yep. It's just beets.
Did you still want to go to that tractor?
Yep. School. I have this tomato. This is a determinate tomato that I planted in this small, I think it's a 1x1 forever garden bed, and then I have this forever garden bed trellising for like determinate tomatoes where you can just like let them bush out. It's windy now. And so I planted garlic around it and a marigold, but I'm also going to plant some beans in here in the inside. Let me bring it closer. So you can see I have the garlic on the outside, the tomatoes on the inside, and then the marigold is all the way at the side. And I'm going to go ahead and plant some beans in here along the inside. I had some volunteer beans planted in, that transplanted themselves in here from last season because I reused the soil out of containers that I planted bush beans in last year. But then we had a frost and it killed all the beans, so I'm just basically replanting what was already in here. I decided to plant potatoes in this bed since the goats had already eaten down all my brassicas, and knowing this heat, it gets really hot in South Carolina really fast, and it's not really the time to plant brassicas. I just thought that maybe I could get some to produce, but since they all got cut down, I decided to go ahead and plant potatoes inside of this bed. Thanks, good job. Those onions are big. Can you show them? Thanks. So those onions that Anael just harvested were onions. I planted onions in this bed last year. This was the first bed that I ever planted. Actually, so I guess it's a year and a half ago. It was the first bed I ever planted was with onions. It had like 540 onions in here, and I guess I missed some because, as you can see, she just harvested some really good sized onions, which is awesome. So this is the bed. I still have this container of potatoes. These are potatoes I grew last year. I've been saying that in a few videos, as well as some organic potatoes that I just got from the store. But I'm gonna use this bed to plant. Well, my girls are gonna plant it for me. The rest of these potatoes, I told them if they plant it for me, they can have a special drink. So, special drink meaning like juice or something like that. So, they're gonna get the rest of this planted. And what was I doing? I was planting something up there, but we'll time lapse this and see how. I think I'm gonna lay it out for them and they'll plant it for me. Yeah. So a lot of people are gonna tell me don't plant tomatoes next to my potatoes, which I've always planted. This is gonna be my first year planting tomatoes next to potatoes. They say that because it's in the same family, and so the pests will be the same for. So any tomato, like the hornworms that would try to get tomatoes, will also get potatoes. But they also say that about peppers, and I've planted my peppers like next to tomatoes and marigolds every year as like a, what's it called, companion planting, and they've always been fine. So I figured this year I'm gonna try potatoes and see what happens. I'm all about experimenting in the garden, and you should be too. And definitely when people tell me not to do something, I definitely want to do it anyway, just to see what it's all about. So you don't have to plant your potatoes next to your tomatoes, but I'm planting my tomatoes next to my potatoes, and I'll just feed them heavily, and we shall see about hornworms and pests throughout the season. So you can learn from me before you do it yourself, but let's get these planted.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was out here editing this video and seeing that I didn't sign off, so I'm here to say goodbye. We were just talking about the van that my son's been driving around, because I told you guys he got his official license. He can drive by himself now. It's super hot out here.
Yeah, it's like 90 something, right?
Yeah. So we're sitting underneath this canopy in the shade, so it feels better. But as soon as we go out
I'm
there,
drinking coffee.
hot coffee. Oh my goodness.
Needed something this morning.
Anyway, did you eat?
Yeah, I ate. The food was good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, what was it? Salmon or something? Yeah, it was really good. It was really tasty.
And the rice.
Yeah, the rice was really good too.
You had salad? You have no vegetable?
Was I supposed to have vegetables?
Yeah, I told you.
No.
Anyway, so we did get, so it's gonna rain tomorrow, and so I was trying to get those seeds planted. So we did get the potatoes planted. We got the painted pony in 2 beds. We got only 1 bed of the what was it called, the black-eyed peas.
I did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and so now I think the girls just went in to drink something and eat some lunch, and I think we're about to go and get the animal feed, right?
Yeah.
So this is us signing off, and we'll see you guys, I guess, on the next video.
Yeah. All right now.
Bye.